biara ni wa. Yakra yeni mobia. Isa omo yeni mobia.
Jesus wonkoa.
Yakra yeni mobia.
Jesus wonkoa. Nyame biara ni wa.
Amen. Okay. Today the title of the teachings given to me is physical way of supporting our pastor. I think on that is a practical way. Okay. So I heard physical way, so the same. So practical or physical way of supporting our pastors, and then we read from Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 1 to 5. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 1 to 5. Can the reader have another microphone so that you can read for me? Today I'm doing it with her. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 1. Okay, you can read the verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 1.
Okay.
The Levitical priest.
The Levitical priest.
Indeed.
The
whole tribe of Levi.
And all the tribe of Levites
are to have no land allotted to them.
They should not be given any land
or any inheritance with Israel.
Or anything in Israel.
They shall live on the food offerings presented to the Lord.
They shall live on the offerings that we will present as offering or sacrifice to the Lord.
For that is their inheritance.
For this is what they should depend on. Okay, continue from 2 then maybe.
Verse 2.
2.
They shall have no inheritance among their fellow Israelites.
So they should not have anything.
The Lord is their inheritance.
And they should take the Lord as their inheritance.
As he promised them.
As he promised them.
Verse 3.
3 says that
this is the share due to the priest from the people who sacrifice a bull or a sheep.
Okay, so if somebody comes with a bull or a sheep, then continue.
The shoulder, the internal organs, and the meat from the head.
Okay.
Verse 4. You are to give them the first fruits of your corn, new wine, and olive oil.
So if you produce first fruits, too should come to the priest. And he said it should be given to a Levitical priest, a pastor ordained by God, chosen by God, called by God, and other pastors too. And verse 4 is naming parts of the verse 3 said that when you come with the bull, the shoulder, the intestine, and others
the meat
must be given to them. That means okay. And the 4 is saying that they should also be given the first fruit. So you should all learn this, that when we get the first job, first farm, the produce that comes first, you can sacrifice that one to God. And then when it comes to, God does not eat bull or corn or millet. So it's human being that is going to eat them. So we're going to look at, this is a practical way of supporting the Levitical priest. So whoever is a pastor called by God and given to you, you must also give that person your practical support. And then we're going to look at some of the practical support that we have to give to our current pastors too. Because if a pastor is a young or old or female or irrespective of that person's tribe, they need support. Because if someone consider coming to church or joining you to your church, the person thinks of these. The questions that come to mind is, how is your pastor like? Can I benefit from him? How is your teachings like? So we value pastors and those that teaches in the church than the auditorium. Everybody coming to church thinks of what is going to benefit. Okay, so it is our mandate that we must support them so that they can give out all their best, so that we can get blessings from them. Everybody that coming asks that, can I be blessed through this man of God that you have? Okay, that means that the pastors value more than the buildings and others. So therefore, they need our help so that they can stand firm and teach us. And then, if you spend some time, for instance, this week I was blessed. I was so occupied. On Monday, I have to prepare and lead the street Bible studies of the men's ministry. Tuesday, same, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, so I have to prepare and then go to the women's convention. I had a presentation there, and then Thursday evening too. So the whole of the week, I was indoors, knowing that. So I realized that the pastor's work is more of loneliness. You have to be in your closet more. So they need people like us to support them too. Okay, so we must get some areas that we must support them through. Okay, so number one is on my list. I have number one to be listening to their sermon. Listening to their sermon. Okay, so it is very discouraging that you are preaching to adults and then they have listening span of a child, a 4-year-old child, that the attention that they will give to you after about 3 minutes, then you see the people dozing off or doing their own thing. In fact, if you are a pastor and then you are presenting and people do that, it puts you off. Okay, so whenever somebody is preaching and then you are attentive, you are listening. In fact, you have a notebook and then you're putting down points. It tells the person that, it encourages the person that you are listening, and that will give the person energy to move on. So your action says that pastor preach on, though you are not speaking aloud, tells you that the message that is coming is valuable to you and you are attentive, and then the pastor worth your time and then attention. Okay. The next one is that you have to give them feedback from their sermons. When a pastor preaches to you, after listening, and then you come to the pastor, I'm being blessed through your presentation. In fact, it's very, very encouraging. So you tell him how God is growing you through his sermons. It's also encouraged. Okay. So we must encourage them through this. Because if listening to a sermon encourages a pastor, then the feedback to also do more than the listening. You tell the person that, in fact, all your presentation, I'm following them. I'm following you on social media. I like your presentation, and the rest will also encourage the pastor. Then number 3 is remember that they are also human being. They are also human being. Okay. No, like I was citing an example about myself this week. If you think of the drains and the strains that they go through, if you want to learn a song, want to learn a song, Minister Elvis will tell you, sometimes he has to climb the mountains before he will come and sing one song. It's not easy. So to present powerfully, it takes a lot from you. So they go through some strains and drains, something they lose a lot. Okay? Because as a leader, you have to guide people and you have to be ready to answer all questions and so on. It's not easy. It's not easy. So pastors need friends and people like yourself to encourage them, to laugh with them. At least they need friends to laugh with them. Sometimes we take them as special beings.